when Hitler attacked Poland, the whole world went crazy. All the German people said, oh my God, how can he do that? This is insane. And from then on, it spiraled into the whole situation. Now, by then I was born 37 times 6 is what, 43, right? Maybe 42. Until 1942, there was everything quiet. There were no bombs coming, not yet, because Hitler still was working all over Europe. To France, Italy, Europe, England, all that sort of thing. So now, when he gotten crazy with all that, now you can record that if you want to.
Okay.
He told the people, which is me, among other people, who are already dead. Don't say that. All right, I was supposed to go and register at the school to go to kindergarten. I registered, and then all of a sudden we were told, no more school. Well done. I never even gotten into kindergarten. And then they started telling the people, okay, you people, you can't have any more food. We have to get coupons. Like every family, maybe once a week, 2 loaves of bread, maybe a gallon of milk, very little sugar, meat, none. Because all the food went out to the soldiers on the front line who were fighting. They were fighting in Poland now, Yugoslavia. They did not fight in Italy because Germany and the Italian people were friends. Strangely enough, Mussolini was the president to those days in Italy, and him and Hitler were good friends. So they didn't attack the Italian people later on, but the Italian turned on Hitler later. But anyway, this is another thing. So, okay, we didn't have much food, and we were told, okay, you people, the bombs are gonna come. Well, you know who the bombs were. These were you people. The Americans, the English, the French. Because we were the ones who started the war. So they said, oh, wait a minute, I don't think we're gonna let Hitler take everything away from us. Easy, easy, easy. So, but as long as Hitler was being able to do a lot of stuff, the people in Poland, in Yugoslavia, in all those places, became the underground. They were trying to help their people to get rid of some of the German soldiers who were hidden in certain places. So, now we were told, okay, you people cannot have any more electricity. You have all black shades on your windows. That would make your black things would be the right thing. As soon evening came and we needed light to close up. And when they caught you, you were not totally closed the windows, and you just didn't even see light out there. The Americans or the English people, airplanes would see and eventually drop a bomb, right? So we were told, okay, at night we all dark. We didn't have electricity either. So, now that was that thing. Now, since we didn't have much food, my family was very lucky. Said I had grandparents in the lower part of Germany. I'm actually from the lower part of Bavaria. Bavaria is a little state within Germany. I was in the lower part of Bavaria. My grandparents are on the upper part, on the Danube. That's the big river who goes all the way down to the Black Sea. They had big farms, so my grandmother would rack up chickens, and they didn't have refrigeration or freezer to those days. She slaughtered chickens, she wrapped them up, She put eggs in it and she sent them up to my family in Munich. I lived in Munich, in the big town. So when Grandma's package came, whoa, we had a chicken to eat, and you know, that was big time. So anyway, so very few people were able to get any food. They really didn't. It was horrible. And then it went, after that, well, we had food. Now, all of a sudden, after a while, it was in 1943 when things really gotten started bad, when the Americans and the and the English and the French at night, and you hear them come. It felt like a swarm of bees. And we were told, I was not even quite 6 years old. I should have brought the picture what I looked like, what you looked like when you had to go through this type of ordeal, being a little child. It's hard to understand, but there are some pictures in there. But anyway, we were told by my mother, and of course that was the thing to do. Number one, you sleep in your gym suit. You have your backpack right next to your bed. And when the sirens came and it went, we knew, uh-oh, here we go again. I jumped out of my sister was younger, and we had to help her. She was only a year and a half younger, but she didn't understand. I understood. I hated it. I was scared. I'm still scared. I grabbed my little backpack, put it on, down to the shelter. We lived in a big apartment house, like in Boston, on Beacon Street, those big houses, down in the shelter. And by then time, the Germans put shelters in everywhere so they could protect some of the regular people, like my family, us children. And we didn't have enough fathers there anymore either, because the fathers all had to go out to war. That's why I didn't have school. The teachers were all gone. There was nobody. And then when you guys people bombarded us, my schoolhouse was gone. The beautiful things in the big cities, they tried to save those, like the museums, the castles, and all the art, and all this sort of thing. They didn't attack those very much, but anything in the city, like houses where people lived in, we sat there and picture yourself, you sit down there, you run down to the shelter, you sit there, and you hear that, boom, boom, and the house starts shaking. It's just like a tornado. The house starts shaking. And everybody looked at each other. I was little. I knew what was going on. My sister just looked like she fell asleep most of the time. And I always said, wake up. My mother said, let her sleep. I was awake. And I said, Mom, what was it this time? My mother would say, hopefully it was not a bomb that will set the house on fire so we can get out again. Because sometimes, and then they had bombs which would explode. There were different kinds, and for one reason or another, my mom always said, the way the house was rattling, it probably was a fire bomb, and probably the top of the house or next to it is on fire. So now sometimes when all that happened, and the bomb came down, there's the explosion. So now, it's awful. The house that was exploding, what happened, a lot of the debris went in front of the entrance of the shelter. Now when the fire alarm told us, ooh, just like that, not ooh, that was the bad one, ooh, that meant, oh, the airlines are gone. The airline, our enemies are gone. You guys are my enemies. They're gone. And people would try and make their way up back to the to the shelter. And sometimes, if you were unlucky, the shelters were loaded in with debris and you couldn't get out. So everybody started digging and digging and digging to get their way out. So sometimes I was always lucky when I was there, some big people or older people who weren't out. You know, they only took the young and strong people out to be soldiers. The older people, they're left when they were handicapped. They would start digging, and that helped us to get out. And then we would get out, and you go up there, and then you see all the buildings around you, just like now in California, the buildings all burning, and you smell all, and you can smell people burning too. And this is horrible when you're little. I mean, I was 5 years old. You go up there, and it smells like the people screaming when they got burned, of course. And so my mother always tried to drag us into the house when our house was still alive, drag us in, go upstairs and calm us down. And then again, like I said, everything was dark. And then we eventually maybe would get some sleep. And then maybe next evening, same old thing. It started to get more and more and more and more. And we lived in fear all that time. Now, for one reason or another, all of a sudden, I got a schoolhouse. They made make-believe schoolhouses, you know, the older guys or whoever put stuff together. Now I could go to school. And by that time, my parents moved me in outside of Munich, out to the country. And I was in that little country school. Out in the country, nobody bothered anything because those were cornfields and stuff like that. They didn't want to destroy that. Of course not. So anyway, because we didn't get any of that corn when they were having a harvest. No, we didn't. That was all sent back out to the front to the soldiers. We maybe got a little bit, maybe a little bag of flour or something. The rest went out to the front line for the soldiers to feed all them. So anyway, my parents took me down to my grandparents. And when we lived down there, we were fairly safe because they would not attack the farms, not at the beginning, but later on they even did that, and that was not so good either. Then my parents took me way into the mountains. They did not attack the mountains either. Why would they want to send, you know what the mountains like, right, honey? Why would they want to send a bomb into one of those big, what do you call it? Yeah, exactly. So now we lived like that for how many years? Until 1945. For 4 years, when they really started bombing very, very vigorously. That was 42, 43, and then in 45 it came to an end. And then there was the liberation. That's when the underground was able to get into the German people to get some of the get some of the ammunitions that was hidden out in certain places. And that's when everything went falling apart. Now, I was safe because I was in the mountains now. And we didn't know what was really going on around us in the city because there was no television, there was no radio, there was no communication. There was only the airplanes going by and whatever. That's all the sounds we heard. And the sounds in the mountains, the cuckoo and the birds and all that. Other than that, we didn't know anything because nobody knew what was going on. But when I was in the mountains, all of a sudden we were told, you can go to school now. The Germans said that now. You safe in there. Now you can start kindergarten or first grade, right? So I said to my mom, I don't think I want to go to school. I'm scared when they're coming. What am I going to do? And we were told. We actually were drilled They said, you go to school and you hear the alarm, zzz, and you hear the airplanes, you get out of school, you run out, and you go in a ditch, whatever. You do not walk. Do not try to walk home or whatever, because you won't make it. Because sometimes the airplanes came real down, and they would shoot you. Yes, they didn't know we were little kids or whatever. They would shoot you. And I used to go home, and I was so scared. And I was so scared, and I thought, oh my God, where are they, where are they, where are they? And then I heard them come, and I threw myself into the ditch. And then I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and it was quiet. And then I would start walking home slowly. It was not very far to walk, but it was scary. And the scariest part was, which is really kind of funny, that one farm had a big dog, and he was going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I said, oh, now the airplane saved, I got saved from the bombarding. Now the damn dog is after me. And I was crying, and I was standing there, and I was crying, and I would keep saying, Woody, where are you, Mommy, where are you, Mommy, where are you? And I was standing there and waiting, and I was hoping somebody else would come along, and nothing happened. And I wasn't able to get home on time, or my mother thought it was very peculiar. She knew the airplanes went by, and I was not. So she took the guts and she went toward the little school, and here I was standing. Oh my God, I'm so glad you came. She says, what were you afraid of? I said, look at the dog. You see, there's always some humor in something that's sad. And it was a huge dog. And I just didn't have the guts to go by. I was crying, and then my mom came, and then it was everything okay again. And then we went through the whole routine again. We, did the best we could. We would go outside a little bit, stay close by the house or whatever. Next night, bombs came again. So, down again, bomb shelters. Now, the bomb shelters were different everywhere. They started building really, really big ones where lots of people could go in. But the house I lived in the city, in Munich, that bomb shelter was enough only for the people who lived in the big dwelling, right? But for people who didn't have a big house and had small apartments or whatever, the city was building big buildings, big shelters. But the other thing is, nothing was working. Electricity and all that was all bombarded because they damaged all that. So there was no electricity either. So when there was a fire, there was no fire department. There was no fire hoses. There were no hydrants. That was just exactly like the war is. In some of those books you can see what it is like, what they've done. But the Americans and the English and the French, they tried to help them because it wasn't fair what Hitler did. He was trying to conquer all of Europe and more. So people got tired of it, of course. And I remember my family, all my family, everybody was in total agony because they said, what is he doing now? Then he started to fight Russia, and that just about done him in because he couldn't get up against them. So that's when a lot of the German soldiers got killed. Now a lot of those, there are some of the books there you can see when the German people, US soldiers, at the Battle of the Bulge, they were on the boats. They're going toward the side of the ocean. They had the boats, and they would come out with all the heavy gear, and had to get into the water and climb up the hill. But the Germans were all the way above there. That was when a lot of the American soldiers and the
Are you talking about
English
Normandy?
got killed. Normandy, that's
No,
right.
that's not the Battle of the Bulge.
But there is Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge. They're two things, two different things. You can see some of it in the book. And Grandpa's uncles.
Yeah, we just interviewed a guy that fought at Normandy.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him if he knew a Stout. He said he didn't.
Whom did you interview?
Peter Orlando. He's 93 years old.
Oh, Orlando, is he Peter Orlando? Does he have children?
Yeah.
Grandchildren?
Yeah, like 5.
I think I know them.
Yeah.
They
live in Concord. They all went to high school, yeah.
And I know Anita, his daughter, Anita Orlando, and little Peter Orlando is the age of your dad or Uncle Stephen. But did he talk about the Battle of the Bulge?
Yeah.
And
he talked about Normandy.
And then Normandy.
Navy.
That was gross. Yeah. There are some pictures in there you can go through. But anyway, so now now we